Yo, what's going on guys? Mush back at it with another video in my series of videos regarding the Steam Summer Sale 2017. Yesterday I did the video of a $20 budget and a lot of you guys left comments saying, Mush, not all of us are in these super tight budgets. Let's see a $100 budget, and that's what I have for you guys today. This is the Steam Summer Sale with a $100 budget, a lot of newer release titles, a lot of higher end titles. Once again, I tried to keep up with the diversity and the varied array of games, and there is a ton of quality in these games. We've got 7 games and the total comes out to $95.48, so you actually have a little bit of money to work with. You can either pick up a cheaper game, something like Bastion, which is only $3, or you can go to Subway and get like a 6-inch sandwich or something like that. But with that being said, let's get right into this. First up, we've got Doom, which is 50% off down to $15. Doom was one of the best games released in 2016, and it was among a ton of first-person shooters that came out in 2016. 2016 really was a year of first-person shooters and multiplayer shooters. You had titles like Overwatch, obviously Call of Duty, Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, but what I really like about Doom is while the multiplayer is okay, the single player of Doom is really what stood out for me. It is just a ton of fun, has very good pacing, a lot of high intense moments, and it's a quality campaign. You're not gonna beat it in 4 to 5 hours, it's gonna take you a solid 9 to 12 hours, and there's a lot of content to it given that it is a first-person shooter campaign. And obviously on PC, Doom is a very good looking game, and it's not even that hard to run. Yeah, you'll need a decent video card, but it's not like you'll need anything crazy. And right now, 50% off for $15, I think this is a great investment. Even if you're just going in and gonna play the single player once and be done with it for 15 bucks, I think that's well worth it.
Demonic presence at front save unit.
Next up, I've talked so much about how The Witcher 2 is 85% off for $3, but The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Game of the Year Edition is 50% off for $25. This includes The Witcher 3 as well as the 2 DLC packs, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. That is just an insane amount of content for your money. The base game of Witcher 3 is going to take you north of 100-150 hours, then both of those DLCs add a wealth of content. You're looking at 200 hours of playtime for your money if you want to do everything that The Witcher 3 has to offer. And what The Witcher 3 gets right versus a lot of open world RPGs is the battle of quality versus quantity. It nails it on both ends. There's a lot of quantity, but a lot of it is also quality. Yes, you'll have a few fetch quests here and there where you have to find like a frying pan, but even those lead to something kind of entertaining. The majority of the content, I'm talking 90-95%, is quality, and for $25, you're just getting so much content, so much quality content. And while I have been hitting home with how great The Witcher 2 is, I'm really saying that because that game is only $3. Witcher 3 is a far better game, clearly, and for $25, it's well worth it.
Damn, you're ugly.
Next up, we've got XCOM 2, which is 67% off down to $19.79. This isn't the cheapest that XCOM 2 has been. It was actually a part of the Humble monthly service, which if you got it then, you just made out like an absolute bandit. That would have been $12 and you got 5 extra games with that. That's why I always recommend to subscribe to Humble monthly. It's an insane service. But nonetheless, if you missed that, XCOM 2 is a great game and 67% off for $19.79. Still a really good deal. If you played XCOM Enemy Unknown, XCOM 2 is a lot more of the same. Just some refined elements, but really the majority of the content is very similar, which isn't a bad thing since XCOM Enemy Unknown was a fantastic game, and XCOM 2 builds upon the quality content in the first game. It's not a very difficult game to run either, so if you have an older PC, maybe even some mid-end laptops, you'll be able to play this game no problem. If you don't want to drop the $20 on XCOM 2, you can pick up XCOM Enemy Unknown for $7.50, and that's a great game too. So if you want to save a little bit of money, that's an option as well, but XCOM 2 is a really good game, so I'd recommend it for that price.
Target neutralized.
Next up, we've got Orion The Blind Forest Definitive Edition, 50% off down to $10. This is just an awesome game. It's a platformer with an awesome art style. I mean, looking at this game, it's not technically brilliant, but its art direction is on point. It's also a very atmospheric and engaging game right off the bat. Within the first 15 to 20 minutes of the game, you'll be absolutely hooked. It tells a great and emotional story with great gameplay, fantastic music, and just one of the best indie-style games in recent memory. I mean, it was published by Microsoft Studios, so it's not really an indie game, but the style is resemblant of one. If you guys haven't checked out Orion The Blind Forest and you are a fan of games like Bastion, Limbo, definitely check it out. It'll be right up your alley, and $10 is a little bit expensive for a game like this, but trust me, it's got overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam for a reason. It's just a terrific, terrific game. Moving on to a game that I've talked quite a bit about, Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen is 60% off, knocking it down to $12. Kind of expensive for Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, which at the end of the day did release back in like 2012 on consoles, but it just released on PC last year, and it was a terrific port on PC. It's got a lot of options, a lot of different settings to tweak, from smooth 60 frames per second gameplay, which is a big improvement because the console version ran very poorly, and on PC it's just a much, much better experience. It's also got 4K support, so a lot to like about Dragon's Dogma, which is an open world action RPG. Some people draw comparisons to Dark Souls. I can definitely see those. It's definitely a difficult game, but it's also got its own unique elements. Just a really good game. Was so happy to see this game come over to PC, and now for $12, it's a good time to check out the game, and this is another game you're gonna put hours upon hours into. Moving on, Cities Skylines is 75% off for $7.50. Alternatively, you can buy the deluxe edition for $10. Since we do have the money to work with, I'd actually recommend picking up the deluxe edition. That's not a bad idea. Cities Skylines is a modern take on the city simulation style games, city building style games, think SimCity. And this game got a lot of recognition based on how bad the last SimCity game was. These games aren't my cup of tea, but I did play Cities Skylines for a bit and I was thoroughly engaged to it. It'll never be the type of game for me, but I know a lot of people that spend hours upon hours in these games, and I definitely understand why. There's a lot of replay value to these games. It's got a strong modding community as well, so really, if you just want a game to constantly go back to, Cities Skylines is a game that you will go back to often. Now, the one thing is, Cities Skylines has quite a bit of DLC. I wouldn't even look into that. It's overpriced. That is one of the downers of the game, but just pick up the base game. You'll have a lot of fun. Check out some of the mods, and you'll have a thoroughly enjoyable experience. And finally, I wanted to include one story-driven experience like I did in the $20 bundle. This time around, I went with The Wolf Among Us, which was created by Telltale. The Wolf Among Us is a mature thriller based on the Fables comic by DC. And once again, with these story-driven games, hard to talk about them a lot without delving into spoilers, but just like a lot of Telltale's other works, it's very engaging, tells an awesome story, and that's what these games need to do because they're light on gameplay. They need to be very engaging and tell suspenseful plots, and The Wolf Among Us has that covered. It's a great game. 75% off for $6.24. These games don't get much cheaper than that. The Walking Dead has been out forever and still not cheaper than $6.24. So if the price is scaring you away, I doubt it's ever going to get cheaper. So now is as good of a time as ever to pick it up. And The Wolf Among Us is well worth that. Hopefully we see a sequel at some point because this game deserves one.
Things going on.
Big P, did one of us do this?
I don't know, Snow.
Fuck you like?
I have my limit for bullshit.
and I think we reached it 10 minutes ago.
Bigby!
There's still a lot of questions.
So that's going to wrap up the Steam Summer Sale 2017 at a $100 budget. A lot of great games here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. A lot of you guys requested it, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have a request for a future video, as always, the comment section, you can put that at. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.